Hello, my name is Jana. Normally I live in a forest, and 12 months ago I've decided that I'm going to start a YouTube channel, and as a little challenge that I'm going to make at least one video a week for a whole year. Raging success. So I was supposed to make 52 videos because 52 weeks in a year. This is the 64th one. I know. I'm doing great by my own metric, because if you use somebody else's metric, you might discover that I only have 155 subscribers. I'm grateful to have 155 subscribers because I'm only interested in my own metric, and my own metric is what I can control, and I can control how many videos I make. So I won. I think it's important to know what your metrics are and what they're based off. Like, I know that my metrics are based off of my internal things. And I'm such a stoic. I'm just good at this. I don't care what people think. I care a little bit. But in terms of being successful on YouTube, that was never my goal. My goal was to make at least one video a week for a year. And doing it this way allowed me to do a lot of experimentation. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do except make videos, because I thought that that's going to be an interesting experience. And I did it mostly for fun, and I think that it's very important that you do it for fun. You don't do it for money, because money is unreliable. You have to have something else going on, something that happens regardless of other people's opinions. Like, do people like what you're doing? If they do, that's great. If they don't, it must be good also. So I actually, believe it or not, have a little bit of a plan, but it's not in the right order. That's why I have been trying to record this video for about 40 minutes now, and I've been jumping around. But yeah, I learned a couple things along the way, like big questions. The big questions of having a YouTube channel. Who you are and what you want. If you can figure those things out, you can probably have a successful channel. I don't have a successful channel, but I think that now I have figured out a couple of things about who I am and what I want. It's amazing. First thing that happens is you get used to the sound of your own voice and the look of your own face, because, well, I never liked myself growing up. It's a different topic for a different time, but when I have to edit videos of me, I kind of got a lot more comfortable with myself, and in just physical sense, most people find their voice annoying when they hear it on a recording. I'm past that. It happens relatively fast. And it used to be very difficult for me to talk to a camera like I do right now. Now I cannot shut up. It's like the easiest thing. And actually, the difficult thing is to have a plan and not deviate too far from it, because that's what I tend to do. I also tend to make 2 points at the same time in the same video, which is very, very bad writing. I don't do writing, that's why that happens. Anyway, so the questions of who I am and what I want, very important. I think that I'm a maker, I'm a creator, and I'm actually a lot better at things that I thought that I am. And because now I have completed this challenge, I can have evidence, and I can confidently say that actually I am a person who makes things happen and who finishes things. Even though, well, I only finished one baby quilt this year. Another thing is that you can probably only focus on one thing at a time. Not only in a video, but also in life in general. So it was one non-negotiable for me that I was going to make a video whatever happened. It was going to be a good one, a bad one, a short one, a long one, a boring one, an exciting one. I was going to be excited about it. I was going to be I need to get it done. But I did get it done, and it was my one thing during the year, because all other things kind of didn't happen. A lot of things didn't happen, and a lot of things that I thought that I was going to make happen didn't happen. But it's okay, because I had a singular focus and I got one thing done. That's what I learned. I can get one thing done. That's usually the number of things that you need to get done at any given time. That's an important lesson that I learned. And because I had to make one video a week, and I didn't always have the capacity to make a good one, I sometimes made bad ones, and sometimes I just made whatever I could. That made me try a bunch of different things, because at some point, I haven't figured out what I want to do with YouTube and where I want to go in terms of what kind of videos I want to make. I tried a lot of different things, and first of all, I figured out what kind of things work. Actually, the less time and effort I spend on a project, the more likely it is to go well. Like sit down and talk videos tend to do well, but I don't like making those kinds of videos. So that was an interesting insight. I thought, well, maybe if I just sit down and say a bunch of things, I'm going to get more views, and maybe it's going to make me happy. Actually, no. I feel happier when I make a project and nobody watches than if I sit down and talk and people get the wrong impression about me. My most popular video on this channel during this year is a video about a device, Books Palma 2, that I kind of reviewed, and that video is genuinely helpful. Here's the device. I always have it somewhere around me. It's a video that I had to make because nobody made it before me. I was interested to see how can you use Obsidian on Onyx Books Palma 2. And nobody made that video before me. I made it. It's very popular. It's very niche. And I always get sad when people subscribe after watching that video, because I never make videos like that, ever. But at the same time, I don't want to take it down, because I think that it's helpful. And I want to help people. And sometimes people subscribe and then they leave, and it makes me a little bit sad. But I know that I don't want to make tech reviews, even though I'm very passionate about tech. I like tech, but I don't have the means to be a tech channel. It's very expensive to be a tech channel, at least in the beginning. So tried lots of things. Now I know what I like to do and what gives me kind of the pleasure of a job well done, because doing something like this doesn't make me feel like I did a good job. Even though sometimes those videos are genuinely helpful, and sometimes I get comments from people in my friend group like, oh, that was a really interesting insight and it kind of changed the way I see things, and oh, that's interesting. But I still want to just make jokes and quilts. That's what I'm going to do next year. I'm going to check things off. I have no memory. And that's one of the points that I was going to make. It's the very end of the list, but I'm going to mention it. I have a terrible memory, and one of the perks of having a YouTube channel is that I'm going to remember some of what happened. Like, I don't remember any of the videos that I've made. Well, I don't remember most of them, and sometimes I get comments on older videos, and I'm like, I don't remember what happened. I need to go back and watch that to make sure that I know what the person is talking about. It's embarrassing, but it happens. And yeah, I'm going to be able to go back and see who I was 5 months ago, who I was in March of 2025. I don't remember that person, but we are acquainted. So making memories is a good thing, and now I have a little bit of an archive. Previously, my way of figuring out what I was doing was looking at photographs, but because I live in the middle of nowhere and I don't go anywhere because I have no money, most of my photo album are just pictures of cats and dogs, so I can kind of tell where the cats are, where the dogs are, and what time of year it is, but no more than that. So making memories is a good thing. Why should you should try making YouTube, maybe, if you think about it. Doing something consistently for a whole year makes you a different person. Like, I know that I got a lot more comfortable with my abilities. I'm a lot more confident, a lot more comfortable when talking to a camera. It used to be very difficult to just sit down in front of a camera and say some things. I had to write a script. Now I usually don't write a script because I'm not very good at reading a script. Now I write I have bullet points and I'm just talking. That's why sometimes when I make a video, I just record it a bunch of times, and then the last one is usually the most coherent, and that's what I'm posting. I don't like making a lot of cuts because I want to be who I actually am. I want to say what I actually have to say. I don't like a lot of cuts. I didn't get better at writing this year, even though I think I did get better at talking, but writing is something that I need to work on in the next year. Unless I do vlogs. If I do vlogs, I don't have to write any scripts. One of the best things that happened this year is that I think I made some friends. I'm not sure. It's a bit awkward because it's a little bit one-sided. There are people in the comments, very kind, very nice people in the comments, and I want to be friends, but I don't know what your names are. Please write what your names are in the comments. You know who you are. Tell me about yourself, because I feel like we have a very one-sided relationship right now. And back in the day, I remember those days when it was possible to make friends on the internet, and those friendships actually could become real friendships, like in the real world. Sometimes it didn't happen, but it still was a valuable thing. And because my corner of the internet is very small, we really do get to have some kind of a true connection like that. Yeah, so that was really cool, and it only started to happen relatively recently, but it's so valuable, and it makes the whole thing worth it. Because for the first several months I would only get like 5 views on each video, and it took several days for a video to get that many views. I've even figured out how many views I need on a video to feel like it was worth it, and the number is 3. Because one of my videos only got 2 views for a very long time. I didn't get a lot of views, and I think that was a good video, but nobody watched it. And yeah, as soon as it got the 3rd view, I realized, oh yeah, it happened. finally it was worth it. I have a very low bar when it comes to engagement, but yeah. Internal metrics are most important, but sometimes I would like a video to get some views. So, what do I have to say after all that? If you're thinking about making your own YouTube channel next year, I would highly recommend it. If you want to try it, do try it. The worst thing that can happen is that nobody is going to watch, and it's going to be a little bit of a waste of time, but you will learn things if you just try, and you can be who you are, where you are. You don't need any special situation to start, because having nice gear is good. It makes things easier, it makes things higher quality, but for the first several months I was using my iPhone 11 Pro. It's a relatively old phone and it works. If you don't try and shoot outside, you'll probably don't even need a microphone that much. I've heard, I'm not sure about that one, but I think that being attractive might help. If you are attractive, it might be an asset. If you are like me, if you're a little bit messy and just unorganized, and if your house isn't in top shape, it's going to be a little bit of a hindrance. It might be, depending on what you want to do, but we tend to trust people who have their act together more. Like, get your life in order, then we'll listen to what you have to say. But if you don't have your life in order, maybe trying to make something like a commitment to posting videos might get you on track to get your act together. Like, sometimes you have to start with the action, and you don't need to be on top of your stuff to start doing YouTube if you want to. Next, if you try making videos and like a month in you discover that that's not what you want to do and you're not interested and it's not fun, and you like the idea of being on YouTube more than you like the process of making videos, you can just stop. A lot of people start and then they stop because we need to be very honest with ourselves, but sometimes we like the idea of being a person on YouTube and we don't actually like making videos. And in order to figure out if you want to do it or not, you have to try doing it. And maybe it's one of those things that you need to try and stop, and then you will let this part of you that was the possibility of being on YouTube, you can just let it go and stop worrying about it. You don't have to commit to something that you don't want to do, and you don't have to hold this possibility somewhere in your subconscious because it's weighing on you. So maybe just give it a try, and if it doesn't work out, that's a good thing because now you know. And if you do end up making a YouTube channel, a general advice that I think is a good advice is don't tell anyone, or probably tell your best friend, but don't tell your relatives, don't tell your family, don't tell your friends at work, because they probably don't care enough to be watching your videos. If they do, that's great, but just it's very helpful to understand that first of all, not all people are into watching YouTube, and if you make people do something that they don't want to do, they will dislike you. And that's not what you want. So keeping it a secret is a good idea. And the last very important thing that I learned, and I think that you should know, and it probably applies to other things as well, is every one video should be about one thing. Everything needs to have intention and focus. I tend to just turn the camera on and start talking without having a script or a list like I have today. And what ends up happening is I talk about everything at once and nothing in particular. Well, usually I have one thing and then I end up talking about 2 or 3 things simultaneously. That's bad writing. Bad, lazy writing. Don't do that. And that's why my plans for the new year are going to be in tomorrow's video, not today. If you're one of the commenters, if you're one of the regular viewers, I'm going to leave my email in the description, and I would really like it if you would tell me a little bit about yourself, maybe your name, what you're interested in, and just how's life, because I feel like we need to have a relationship. It's important. Maybe next year I'm going to become so famous that I'm not going to read the comments anymore. Who knows? We need to seize the moment right now. And I hope that you're doing very well. I hope that the weather is nice. I hope that you're just having fun. And I'll see you tomorrow with a video about my future plans.